So I just made a gesture like, well, that's the way it is.
Well, it sounds interesting.
The punchline is, he was laying for me.
Oh.
And threatened me physically. And I just, met him eyeball to eyeball and told him in a nice, calm way that I didn't think he had the intestinal fortitude to carry it off. And that was the end of that story.
Well, it sounds like an interesting job anyway, so I can see why you would have...
Does that give you a flavor for it?
Yeah, right. When did you move to Hamilton, Wenham area?
Patty and I came to Hamilton in 1964 over on Asbury Street. In fact, just off the corner of Union. At the corner of Union and Asbury, for those that now look at a single-family home, there was a convenience store that was run by Rocky Clark. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people may remember him. He worked at the Shoe. And he built this home next door, which is California Redwood Siding. It's still there today, 130 Asbury Street. In fact, Lieutenant Kavanaugh of the Wenham Police Department is residing there.
And then from
there, after 5 years, we moved on to Wenham, 5 Great Pond Road, and we've been residing there. It's now, 21 years. 21 years.
Well, has the town changed for you in just that short length of time?
To be honest with you, Bill, I would have to say that until 1980, my requirements at the airport were so, I put in hours like, this 8-hour day.
Didn't exist for you at all?
No. And therefore, I got to know very few people. But in 1980, I became involved with the Town Republican Committee. And that's when I started getting into the political end of, if you will, of the town, learning more about the town. And then in 81, when I retired from United Airlines, of course, that made my time more available to really dig into.
And you were more in the political limelight then, right?
Well, in 1983, when Albie Dodge decided to step off the Board of Selectmen, I ran for the Board of Selectmen and was successful. And I'm in my 8th year now.
Do you enjoy being selectman?
Yes, I do. I really do.
You are still helping people, though, aren't you?
Well,
that's right.
You're right, Bill. That's the way I view it. It is a challenge. Not everything's going to turn out, exactly the way you would like to have it turn out. But I will say more often than not, you find that, especially here in Wenham, the folks in Wenham they're a special group of people.
And your family is close by.
Oh, yes. My son, Chris, who a lot of folks are familiar with, teaches at the regional high school. He's living in Ipswich with his wife. My daughter, who's in the high-tech field, and her husband and 2 of our grandsons live over in North Beverly, just across the tracks, in fact, from where I live. And then my mother and father-in-law are on Brimble Avenue, right up the, near the Blueberry Nursing Home.
Well, that's nice that they're close by. Your son Tom is in the service connected, isn't he?
Yes, Tom went through the University of Vermont and the ROTC. ROTC, for those that don't know what I'm saying, is the ROTC program. Came out, was commissioned, became a helicopter pilot, did his stint in Vietnam, came back, he trained fellows to become helicopter pilots, and then after 7 years of active duty, went into the U.S. Army Air Force Reserve, also the Vermont Air National Guard.
And on some of his missions that he's had, he's even had Indians take some shots at him, not with a bow and arrow.
No, that happened in March this year, March 30th, in fact. Here he goes through his year in Nam without a scratch, and he's flying a Mercy mission from Burlington Airport in Vermont to Messina, New York. Because of a light snowstorm, he's flying about 200 feet, and over this Indian reservation, and somebody there, he's told me there's 16 of them that have been arraigned, and the FBI is also still working on it. But the point, somebody cut loose and hit the vitals of the aircraft, so that he had 30 seconds to get that airplane on the ground. And the doctor that was on board took a bullet in the arm, and I can report that the doctor has recovered. So.
And your son is safe.
And my son is safe. Thank you.
Well, he must have known how Custer felt.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in fact, in conversation, I said to him, "It's too bad you couldn't call in the cavalry, because the Indians wouldn't." And I guess people have read that here in the Globe, as well as other newspapers, that the Indians would not allow the New York State troopers or the federal on. They themselves got the ambulance, and they themselves escorted Tom, his other crew members, and the nurse and doctor off the reservation.
Well, I'm glad he survived that fine.
Yeah.
Well, Bill, I want to thank you for coming on the program Times Past, and it was a great pleasure having you.
Well, thank you, Bill. My pleasure.
Right. And we hope you enjoyed the program. And this is Bill Heitz, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.